What's up, Make Pop Music? It is Austin Hull here from Austin Hull Audio and Visual and Make Pop Music, and today we're going to be bringing you another video, of course. And for today's video, I wanted to kind of address something. We get a lot of questions from people who are kind of beginners or early in their music production careers that maybe have a pretty basic setup, pretty budget-friendly items, and they're solid quality, but they're kind of just looking for upgrades. And people always ask kind of what is the biggest bang for their buck, right? So basically, if I have, this much money to spend, what's the first thing I should get? Should I get monitors? Should I get a new interface? Should I get microphones, etc.? So today I wanted to kind of address, in my opinion, what I think are kind of the 5 most essential upgrades that you should be focusing on first if you're coming from like an entry-level budget rig. Also, if you notice this really blank spot on my wall back here, and you've probably seen it in videos before, the panels are literally always falling, so basically, I'm just like a lazy piece of shit that hasn't put them back up yet. So, one like equals one panel hung. So the first thing that I think that you should kind of think about upgrading in your studio is probably gonna be your computer, because that's like the central hub, right? That's where you're making the music. That's where you're kind of connecting with people, and you really need like a powerful kind of workstation hub in that, right? So if you're using just like an old laptop or kind of a really, really minimal computer, and all of your projects are locking up and you're getting that thing of death every time you have more than like 4 tracks going, I definitely think it's time to upgrade. And what I would be looking for in an upgrade is probably at least 16 gigs of RAM, and then also something like an i7 or at least one of the higher core i5s. And then other than that, you're just gonna want plenty of storage, right? So you'll want probably at least a 1 terabyte SSD for all of your programs and stuff like that. And then you can have an external SSD, an external HDD, kind of similar to how I showed you on my room tour. And then that kind of just helps a little bit. So I think that if your computer's giving you issues, that's probably the first thing that I'd focus on. And that's gonna be one of the bigger purchases. Don't, hesitate to spend $1,500 to $2,000 on a computer, because yeah, it's a huge investment, but for one, it's gonna work for way more than just audio. Like, you can also do all of your socials on it. You can also edit any kind of video content that you might want to on it. And for 2, it's just a really, really good investment. Like, that to me is gonna have by far the most return on investment, because you'll be able to kind of mix or produce or write tracks that are getting up into the, 80 to 100, 100 to 150 kind of ranges, rather than just being stuck with something where you're trying to export and bounce, export and bounce. Having a really, really entry-level computer definitely hinders workflow, and to me, that's the absolute first upgrade I would have if you have something that's maybe more entry-level and you have a little bit of extra side cash. The second thing I would think about upgrading in your studio is probably going to be the actual acoustic treatment. So if you have a room where it's just your dedicated studio, or if you, live at home by yourself and you can kind of treat your living room or wherever it's in, or if you have a really, really cool significant other or spouse or parent that really doesn't give a shit what you do, I definitely think hanging some of these acoustic treatments in your house will help a lot. And so there are definitely areas to focus on, and there are things to put up first. So you can always just build your own acoustic panels with basically some 2x4s and get something like Roxol or like Cornings just to kind of put inside to kind of dampen some of that sound. Then you really just wrap it in like a light breathable fabric, like a really loose cotton or something like a burlap, or even some kind of acoustic sheet like something like Guilford of Maine. And you can honestly build a whole room's worth of panels for $200 or $300. And to me, that is such a solid investment. Just the actual difference between having a treated room, an untreated room, or even like a slightly treated room in the middle is just huge. And then if you have a little bit of extra budget, you can always go with something like the Prime Acoustic London kit, or you can go with something like Gick Acoustics. You can always do something like that to where they're gonna have a little bit more customizable options. They're kind of just sent to your door, ready to put up. So it's really all about budget, but either way, I would say put a couple $100 aside to start building some broadband absorbers, to start building, some bass traps to go in the corners, because those are gonna help so much. The third upgrade that I think that you should keep in mind is gonna be your actual studio monitors. So for years, I was just working on like Logitech little computer speakers, and they were garbage. And then I went to the Presonus Aris 5s, and honestly, they were pretty cool. I was in a really small apartment, so I didn't have a lot of, space to really get some bass frequencies going or have some bigger monitors. So I liked them for a little while. They were super, super cheap. I think I got the whole pair for like $300 or $400. And for me, that was a really, really good upgrade from the Logitechs. But if you're really, really wanting to upgrade and kind of get some, really accurate monitoring that's got some low end, the highs are a little more silky, everything's just kind of a little bit more tight and separated all at the same time, I definitely think go ahead and man, I just stuttered so bad. I definitely think go ahead and just upgrade. God damn it. if you notice that you're ready to actually go to the next level, I definitely think upgrade your monitors somewhere between like the $1,500 and the $3,000 range for the pair. So I actually upgraded to the Focal Shape 65s, and I love them. That was, for me, one of the best purchases I've ever made for my studio. The difference between the PreSonus Aris and the Focal Shapes was night and day to me. So if you're on some kind of laptop speaker or computer speaker, maybe get like a budget level monitor to upgrade. And if you're on a budget level monitor to upgrade, maybe go for something a little bit more mid to high level. So don't be afraid to, you know, spend $1,500 to $3,000 for your pair of monitors, especially if you've actually spent the money and the time treating your room, because that's gonna be huge for you. Like, everything that you're gonna listen to is gonna come back through those. So monitoring to me in the studio is one of the best ways you can spend your money, because that's not something that you can really fix inside your DAW, right? Like if you have you know, something else, like if you have an interface that maybe has a little bit of noise, you can always gate that out. Or if you have a microphone that's maybe not perfect, you can always EQ stuff. But to me, having a good room and good monitoring is essentially number one, besides having a computer that's not going to shit out on you. The fourth thing that I think that you should upgrade is actually going to be a microphone. So for years, I used just kind of like a Sterling ST59, which was like a $200 or $300 mic. And honestly, it was super solid. It got the job done. But I've kind of been upgrading my mics, you know, over the past couple years, and I've actually found a new mic that I'm really into. If you are looking to kind of upgrade your mic and go from something from that $200 to $300 range and kind of go to more high level, I have been using a mic a lot lately, and they actually did send it to me to try out. It's not sponsored or anything like that, but I definitely want to give them a shout out because I am loving it, and that is the JZ Black Hole microphone, specifically the BH2. So typically it retails for around $1,000, but right now they've actually got a sale going at the time that I'm making this video, so don't hold me to it. But you can go get this microphone for like $550, $600 on their website. So I will leave a link in the description. To me, that's such a good upgrade from something that's going to be, you know, your more entry level $200, $300 mic to something where you kind of want it more as a workhorse, more as a staple. Also, this microphone just has a really cool design. It's a really nice talking point when you have a client using it or you're just kind of putting it on social media. It's got a really sick design to kind of sit out in your room. But yeah, I think that if you're willing to upgrade your mic and, you know, you're looking for something to kind of take you beyond that kind of entry level model, the JZ is really good. They're all handmade and hand tested, and to me, it's really good quality, especially now that they're basically doing like almost half off of their mic. So yeah, if you've got a little bit of extra cash right now and you're looking for a really good upgrade, I highly suggest going to pick that up, because right now it is an absolute steal. And even if you want to cop it for retail, which is basically like at $1,000, I still think it's completely worth the value and more. So yeah, JZ microphones, killer job. Super sick upgrade. But either way, just upgrading that mic from that entry level to that mid or high level is going to be a really big difference in quality. And the last thing, the fifth thing that I want to talk about, is probably going to be a little bit of a surprise. It's not an interface, it's not preamps, it's not guitars or basses or stuff like that. It's actually going to be your studio furniture. So to me, studio furniture really enhances efficiency. So everybody's got a desk for them. Some people like really, you know, big desks that have tons of rack mounts on them and can hold some kind of mixing console. Some people like me just prefer a flat top desk to where you've got your MIDI keyboard that you're always using, you've got your keyboard, your mouse, and then like your interface, then maybe have like a sidecar off to the side. Some people have something where they want, you know, a really small compact desk where it's only the things they need. So find what kind of workflow is going to work for you, and then spend a little bit of money kind of, you know, doing that upgrade, getting the right desk, getting the right, you know, sidecar or rack gear, getting the right kind of cable management. That way there's not just cables all over your studio. Stuff like that is really going to improve efficiency and workflow, and it just makes the space look a lot nicer for when you have clients and for when you're just kind of sitting in it. Like, you don't want to sit in a messy studio. So spend a little bit of money on the actual studio furniture, and also with that comes like a studio chair. So I am using like the Herman Miller Aeron, which you can get used for like $400 or $500, and new they're a little bit over $1,000. So I definitely say look for used or look for secondhand. And to me, upgrading from a $150 office chair to like the $400 or $500 Aeron was a night and day difference. So I think that just upgrading your chair, upgrading your desk, making sure your rack gear has a place to sit, making sure, you know, your keyboards have a place to sit and everything is functional for you is such a good upgrade, because I see so many people basically producing on just really small computer desks that are made for people to write like college essays on and not necessarily produce on. And so they're having to drag stuff out. There's cables everywhere. Stuff's always falling off the desk. The desk is just cluttered and messy. So to me, definitely put a little bit of time in, put a little bit of money in, get your space looking how you want it and being as efficient as you want it. So hopefully these 5 upgrades will kind of help you decide where to spend your money next if you have a little bit of extra, or you're just really looking to go from more entry level, budget level to kind of mid-level studio or even like higher level home studio. So just to recap, get a nice computer. To me, that's number 1. Number 2, spend some time and some money actually treating your space, whether it be with your own homemade acoustic treatment or just some pre-made acoustic treatment that you actually buy. Number 3 is going to be get some good monitors to where you can hear the low end, you can hear the high end. They're not super fatiguing, they're really nice to work on, but they're really true to the sound and they're flat. Number 4 is going to be go ahead and upgrade that microphone, because if you're recording vocals or drums or guitar or literally anything in the studio, a good microphone is going to be essential. So maybe upgrade that entry level to something like the JZ. And then number 5, go ahead and just upgrade your studio furniture so it's efficient, it looks nice, it's really easy for you to actually use. And you know, when people come in, they feel like they're in a nice space. Everything's clean, it's organized, everything's just got a nice consistent vibe. There's not cables hanging everywhere. So hopefully these 5 things have kind of helped you out. To me, those were the first areas I kind of spent my money in. Then I worried about stuff like, you know, extra software, changing my actual interface, all that kind of stuff secondary. So I think that these are really, really good ways to spend your money. They all kind of have a solid return on investment because they either improve quality or workflow or both. So hopefully these helped you out. Let me know what your first kind of big upgrade in your studio was, or what you want your first big upgrade in your studio to be, because I'm always looking to see kind of what people are looking for, what kind of gear they're looking for. Maybe we can even get some of that on the channel and review it or kind of try it out. So let us know what kind of gear you have upgraded or want to upgrade, and we'll try to, you know, start some conversation about that. But for now, that's going to be it. If you like this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and it helps us out a ton. And for now, that's going to be it. We will see you next time. Much love, make pop music. Peace out.